On March 30th, 2001, Butch Hartman and Nickelodeon released the very first episode of one of the most beloved and iconic animated TV shows of all time, The Fairly OddParents. People really like this show, or at least they used to. You see, the early seasons of Fairly OddParents followed this trend of being actually really awesome. Some might even call it peak cinema. However, like most trends, the longer it goes on, the more insufferable everything seems to get, which is why today I'll be taking a look at one of the Fairly OddParents' worst rated episodes ever. An episode so bad, it's cited by many fans online as being solely responsible for completely ruining the show. And surprise, it aired towards the end of the show's lifespan. Who would have guessed? Listen, I've covered the horrible Vicky episodes, I've covered the annoying Chloe episodes, but this one today has a special place in most people's hearts because most people know it as the episode they wish just never happened. Control-Delete this thing. Literally no one thinks this was a good idea. From being overly stupid to showing an overwhelming amount of creative fatigue, all the signs were there and I don't even know what to say, dude. It's a hard watch. They massacred my boy. So today, I'll be explaining everything that happens in this low-rated, extremely hated episode, while also calling out all the little things in it that don't make any sense. Is this episode as bad as people say it is? Will it make you destroy your TV out of sheer frustration? Well, grab your copy of Volcano Island for the Nintendo GameCube to find out, because it's time to watch what some people call the episode that ruined Fairly OddParents. Also, I'm not going to shove an ad in your face here. All I ask for is that you like the video if you enjoy what you're watching, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. On to the video. This episode, that's the media equivalent of the devil himself, is called Fairly Odd Pet. We start our story at the Dimsdale Pet Park, where we see a bunch of people with a bunch of different animals. Right away, I'm gonna put this episode on blast, because there's very obvious monkey sounds during the shot, but there's no monkeys on screen. I feel lied to. Where are the monkeys? If you're gonna play the sound, at least show me the right animal. Did the animators and the sound design people just not talk when they were making this episode? This is when we cut to Timmy and his fairies cruising around town, Sonic Rider style. Turns out Timmy is pretty bummed out because everyone in town has a pet but him. Surely Timmy getting one won't be a decision this TV show's fan base will resent forever. There's a couple of jokes here that really show off just how stupid some of these characters are sometimes. Timmy's dad is a full-blown 0 IQ idiot by this point. He has a pet rock that's shaped like a nose for some reason. He makes it sniff things. It's very weird. There's also this bit with Mr. Crocker who has a parrot as a pet. It's kind of funny, but also kind of makes no sense.
Terry's! No wonder I don't have a girlfriend. Why am I in a tree?
Anyway, one random E.T. reference later, and Timmy is about to wish for his own pet, I think. That is, until Wanda reminds him that he's actually kind of bad with animals, so getting a pet would probably be a horrible idea. But really, this dude's like, what, 10 years old? What's the worst he can do, really? At this point in the episode, it's stated that Timmy has fed his pet chicken scrambled eggs, brought his pet snail to a local salt factory, I'm not kidding, and even gave his pet mouse some alone time with his pet cat. In a weird way, I'd like to think this is proof that Timmy's a good cat owner, kind of, but that goes against everything this episode's trying to tell us, so let's just forcefully ignore it for now. Wanda refuses to spawn in a pet because Timmy is proven to be very irresponsible. Timmy decides to get a pet the old-fashioned way then, which is basically just him begging his parents while acting all innocent. The mom says no because she's the boss. The dad says no because he's just not a functioning human. If you disagree, try to prove me wrong. When did the dad get so stupid? I swear he was never that bad. Like, he can barely get a coherent thought out, it feels like. So everyone around here is telling Timmy that he's not allowed to get a pet. So of course, Timmy immediately comes up with a plan to somehow get one anyway. Timmy tells Wanda that his mother is allergic to cats, so if he wishes for a bunch of them to spawn in, the mom will have a serious reaction and then want a dog in the house to like scare all the cats away or something. There's actually so much wrong with this wish, it's actually kind of impressive. You'll see, just give me 2 minutes to explain. Timmy makes the wish, Wanda poofs in a bunch of cats, the mom almost dies from anaphylaxis, the dad sees her after what he thinks was a 12-hour Overwatch gaming session, the dad orders Timmy to get a dog, and then jumps in a barrel full of push pins for no apparent reason whatsoever. I definitely have a couple questions from a writing standpoint. Wanda poofs in a bunch of cats despite saying no to giving Timmy a pet, literally like, I don't know, 1 minute ago. For some reason, none of these cats count as Timmy having a pet. He really wants a dog specifically all of a sudden, despite that not being mentioned earlier at all. Also, no one seems to be concerned for the mom. And on top of all of that, Wanda brings Timmy to the fairy pet store to get a dog, even though she still fully believes he'll probably be a horrible owner. So like, are the fairies allowed to say no to granting specific wishes? If they aren't, why didn't Timmy just wish for a dog straight up instead of like doing that whole cat thing? And if they are allowed to say no, why did Wanda just say yes? All answers we may never know. Anyway, none of that matters because Timmy is now pet shopping. There's this joke about how Jorgan is working a retail job or something and he's hyped about it because he's getting paid $8 an hour. This would be kind of funny if you don't consider the fact fact that Jorgan is probably a retired veteran and needs this job to pay for his cost of living. This just got really dark, but that's life. This is when Timmy finds a dog that goes by the name Sparky. This dude is a bit hyper and can talk in perfect English. I'll be completely honest, most people hate this episode because of this dog. Don't worry, we'll get to that. Turns out Sparky has been adopted and returned several times in the last couple years, so obviously there's something up with this guy that we don't really know about yet. Here's when I want to mention Cosmo for the first time in this video, by the way. He doesn't actually do anything. Honestly, he's just kind of there being himself. What is even going on? You're either a main character or you're dumb as rocks. And sadly, Cosmo is both. Sparky goes on to explain all the ways his previous owners left him, which is probably the funniest part of this episode so far, which is very sad. Timmy's heard enough and officially adopts Sparky. And just like that, whether you know it or not, Fairly OddParents just changed forever. You might not know it, but Doomsday is coming. It's only a matter of time. Before everyone heads back home, Jorgan gives Timmy some magic flea powder to put on Sparky every 4 hours. Surely this won't have story-altering implications. Timmy asks Sparky if he knows any tricks, which is when Sparky channels his inner Evel Knievel by getting on a motorcycle, jumping off a huge ramp, clearing a bunch of school buses, and flying around the entire world in less than 2 seconds. You know, just regular dog things. All of this to say, things are pretty cool right now. Timmy and the fairies seem to be getting along with Sparky quite well. He even ends up getting rid of all the cats from earlier. There's no real reason to even hate this guy yet. Vicky comes in and is about to murder Timmy with a chainsaw, I think, but Sparky stops her, and this is enough to get Timmy to cry tears of joy because he just declared that Sparky is probably his new best friend. It's really that simple. Boys are just chill like that, I guess. So you're probably thinking that so far this episode isn't too bad, which probably means we're due for some conflict. It's the next day now, and we find out that Sparky was pretty busy during the night doing, quote, dog stuff. If he's anything like my dog, we're definitely in for a treat.
What did you do? Why did you do that?
Jokes aside, Sparky straight up just buried the house underground. Get it? Because dogs bury things. We also find out that the living room is completely trashed and that the hardwood floors have been replaced with carpet. Honestly, that last part about the carpet is just straight up evil. Personally, I'd send him straight back to the pound. Not only that, but I guess Sparky dug a bunch of massive holes outside, causing car crashes and a bunch of panic. I'm just guessing here, but I think it's safe to assume Sparky has probably caused a couple casualties in his lifetime. Nothing crazy, just like a dozen human lives or something. I don't know.
Timmy, everyone's playing in the
Look, Timmy, I ruined literally everything. Isn't it awesome? Is anyone supposed to like this character? No worries though, because Timmy wishes for everything to be back to normal. However, Wanda says that she can't actually grant that wish because I guess Sparky buried their wands. But we saw Cosmo and Wanda use their wands like 30 seconds ago. Did he bury them while Timmy had his back turned for 5 seconds? Is this dog a speedrunner or something? And as if things couldn't get any worse, of course everyone forgot about the magic flea powder. Timmy was meant to apply it every 4 hours, but it's been at least 16 hours since then. GG. Very unlucky. Because of this, Sparky unleashes magic fleas everywhere, which bite every person in sight and turns them into possibly the worst thing imaginable: a bunch of furries. Seriously, everyone who gets bitten turns into a dog or a wolf or something. They're also kind of evil, I think, because they chase Timmy around and are a little scary for some reason. So while the gang is brainstorming for solutions, Timmy orders Sparky to fetch the wands back, but of course Sparky's kind of an idiot himself, so he fails 3 times. First he fetches Wanda instead of a wand, then he fetches a blonde instead of a wand, and then he fetches a guy named Juan instead of a wand. God, I wish I was kidding. I seriously do.
How you doing?
A bit later, and we somehow find out that the flea powder still works even after someone is transformed, so Timmy plans on using his dad's plane to fly over the city and spread powder all over. Why does Timmy's dad even have a makeshift plane, you're asking? I'm pretty sure the canon reason is because this dude is severely unstable and wants to bomb Dinkelberg's house, but maybe he's just a big fan of GTA San Andreas. I don't know. Timmy and Sparky fly the plane, then spread powder all over the town. Everyone starts turning back to normal. It happens over this very long, jazzy montage thing. I like jazz a lot, so I'll give this episode +1 credibility. After they use all the powder, Timmy realizes he doesn't actually know how to fly a plane, despite literally flying one for the last 10 minutes. The plane is now crashing, which is a nice reference to real life in 2025. Why are there so many plane crashes recently? While falling, Sparky takes the only parachute and jumps off, presumably to land at Tilted Towers.
I'll give it to you after I test it.
Wait, he just leaves Timmy to die? Isn't this dog immortal? Why does he even do that? As much as the main character getting squished like a pancake would be funny, Timmy lands in a pool, so he ends up being fine. Timmy does get mad though, which makes Sparky run away or something. Honestly, I don't care. I already checked out mentally by this point in the episode. Okay, whatever. Sparky is very depressed. This is supposed to be a very sad moment. There's a random Scooby-Doo reference here. It kind of makes no sense to begin with, and I think it's funnier if I just don't explain the context surrounding it. So yeah, there you go. Get wrecked, nerds. When Timmy returns home, there's a DVD waiting for him on his bed. It's a video of Sparky saying that he's very sad and is running far away forever. How Sparky had time to film this and burn it on a CD in a matter of minutes, I'll never know. I guess you could argue that Sparky's like a magic fairy or whatever, but then why not use your magic to safely land the plane from earlier? Like, I understand this is a goofy cartoon, but without any kind of logic at all, it's extremely hard to care about anything. Because of this video, Timmy ends up feeling really bad for Sparky, so he tries to find him. And actually, I do have to give this show credit here because Cosmo has like 3 lines in this entire episode, and this one that I'm about to play actually made me laugh really hard. It's possible my brain's just cooked, but it got me. I don't know.
I hope he's not at the pound! Not the pound!
Anyway, Timmy ends up finding Sparky in his backyard. That's not much of a hiding spot, not gonna lie. Turns out there's a giant dam in his backyard. I'm not gonna question anything anymore. I don't care. The dam breaks and washes Sparky away. Timmy then swims after Sparky and saves him. He then apologizes and the two make up. I guess even though he's caused a lot of damage and probably eliminated a couple players, we're supposed to think that Sparky is still cool. Or something. All the wands randomly wash up next to everyone, so Cosmo and Wanda can turn everything back to normal. The day and the episode ends with Timmy and Sparky walking off into the sunset, and that's kind of just the end. Wait. Why do people hate this episode so much? Well, turns out, even with all of the pure randomness, lazy jokes, and uninspired writing, there is actually one more reason people hate this episode. Sure, this episode isn't that good to begin with, but it's also the first episode of season 9, which introduces a brand new main character. That's right, in case you haven't figured it out yet, Sparky isn't just some random one-off NPC, but actually a main addition to the cast of characters 9 seasons deep into development. I know they added Poof later on, but this was basically the main squad for like the whole time. People often cite this episode as the moment Fairly OddParents changed forever. You see, the show had a considerable drop in quality after this point. Fans were forced to accept this random dog character that didn't really have a place in the main group. Cosmo was already the idiot quirky guy, we didn't need another one. And then characters people actually enjoyed, like AJ and Chester, were slowly forgotten about and written off TV entirely. After Fairly OddParents reported record low numbers, the show just kind of had this sense of it didn't care anymore. It tried to keep its viewers hooked with shock value by adding random characters, like we just saw in this episode. It's as goofy as ever. It tried trading logical, emotional stories for quick gags about one-dimensional characters doing dumb things. None of that seemed to have worked though, because to this day, people will still cite this episode as being the one that ruined Fairly OddParents. Do you agree that this episode changed the show forever? Let me know in the comments. Reminder that this is just a fun little video I made because I enjoy talking about random stuff. It's not that deep. Anyway, become a member for only a single $1. It supports me and the channel and gets your name at the end of all my future videos right here. I'd like to thank all of my current members for choosing to support me. Once I get my sleep schedule back on track, I'll try to have some behind the scenes stuff to show you guys exclusively for members only, so join that if you care. Paula Abdul scores this one a solid talking dog out of 5. And yeah, thanks for watching.
How you doing?
No wonder I don't have a girlfriend.